Instead of a basket of glad tidings, the maize bumper harvest has totally delivered a different outcome: the crushing of prices for the crop. Now, we find out why this is the case and what can be done going forward, picking the minds of those in this sector.
The recent maize bumper harvest afforded by, among others, good weather has to many farmers also turned out to be one of their worst nightmares. The resultant maize price crash has left many counting losses. A kilo of maize grain has come down to as low as 250 shillings, in some places from above 1,000 shillings last year. At the heart of the problem, according to experts, are age-old challenges such as lack of access to proper storage facilities to most farmers.
You have most of the farmers who have produced following good rains, good climates and the weather that we've been talking about, all harvesting and producing significant quantities of maize at the same time. Now what happens is that if there is no offtake at that point, then it creates pressure on the prices, pressure on the storage systems, pressure on all those logistical items or issues through the value chain that need to be addressed.
There's also the issue of middlemen who take advantage of such realities to make more money. This problem is made worse by the low presence of structured agricultural financing and credit facilities targeted at farmers to control panic selling during such seasons.
We need to be able to give them advice on the kind of quality that they need to present to these markets, because the markets that pay premium prices are not the informal markets. They are the markets that pay premiums, pay good prices for quality commodity.
Sector observers now worry that the price crash in the maize subsector might discourage a number of farmers from growing maize next season, which could distort food prices and plunge the country into a food crisis, considering the fact that posho is steadily becoming a major staple on most dining tables. But while these challenges persist, government has, through the Trade Ministry, come up with interventions to stem up the price drop and has recently announced 100 billion shillings fund to be lent to maize buyers with the goal of pushing up the price per kilo of grain to 500 shillings.
Fortunately, the government and the private sector have done a lot of things. We have a national grain policy that describes how we should do all these things: value chain issues, finance, production, inputs, get production up to speed and all of that. Unfortunately, we have not done as well with things to do with quality, with issues to do logistics, the storage and granaries. Those days back in the day, we used to have granaries at every village to pick this grain and condition it and all of that. We don't have that. We need to put in place all these things.
In addition to that, several government programs, including the warehouse receipt system, are supposed to address challenges of storage, quality and credit access to farmers of selected crops, including coffee and maize.
We work with the big traders who own storage infrastructure, and this has to be certified, inspected by us, certified, based on the standards, and these are the East African standards. So our role, we inspect these facilities, we make sure what is kept there is in good order and they follow the standard. And this is where we best to generate now the so-called receipts.
Uganda is clearly comparatively advantaged in agriculture compared to its neighbours. Realising this advantage for the benefit of its farmers and the wider population will, however, depend on how much investment is made on both public and private sector level in areas that support transformational agricultural practices.